my name is Catherine, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to derive the quadratic formula. So first you're going to start off with the equation in standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And then you're going to end up with a quadratic formula that is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. As you can see, there are a lot of steps to go from this equation to this equation, so the most important thing you have to remember is to remain organized. When you are ready to plug numbers into the equation, make sure you identify the numbers that correspond with the letter and that you use parentheses to group your numbers to get the correct answer. So first, you're going to start off with the general form of the equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, and then we are going to complete the square. First, we are going to subtract c from both sides of the equation, so you are left with ax squared plus bx equals negative c. So, subtract c from both sides to maintain balance in the equation. And you are left with ax squared plus bx equals negative c. Next, you are going to complete the square, and to complete the square, you need the coefficient of the first term to be equal to 1. So you're going to divide all of the terms in the equation by a. So you divide by a, divide by a, divide by a. And you are left with x squared plus b over a x equals negative c divided by a. As you can see, the coefficient of the first term is equal to 1. The coefficient of the equation is now 1. Now, to complete the square, the left side of the equation needs to become a perfect square trinomial. But now it's only binomial, so we have to add a third term to the left and the right sides of the equation. To do that, we need to look at the coefficient in front of the second term. That will become the middle term of the perfect square trinomial. Now we can complete the square. All we have to do is divide the term by 2 and square it. To do this, you can multiply the fraction by 1/2, which is equivalent to dividing by 2. So, to set this up, b over a times 1/2. You multiply across, so b times 1 equals b, and a times 2 equals 2a. We now have to square the entire thing, so we get b squared over 4a squared. We can now add this to the left side and the right sides of equations to create a perfect square trinomial and to keep the balance of our equation. After this step, what we are left with is x squared plus b over ax plus b squared over 4a squared equals negative c over a plus b squared over 4a squared. Our left-hand side of the equation is now a perfect square trinomial, so we can factor it. Once you factor this equation, you get x plus b over 2a squared equals negative c over a plus b squared over 4a squared. The right side of the equation doesn't change at all when you factor the left side. We have now taken this equation and completed the square on the left side. Now let's simplify the right. We need to add the fractions, but first we need to find the common denominator. The least common denominator is 4a squared, so we multiply negative c over a by 4a over 4a plus b squared divided by 4a squared. This equals negative 4ac divided by 4a squared, because 2a equals a squared, plus b squared over 4a squared. The fractions now have the same denominators, and we can add them. This leaves us with negative 4ac plus b squared over 4a squared. Our entire equation now looks like x plus b over a squared, which equals negative 4ac plus b squared divided by 4a squared. With the commutative property, we can move the b squared in front of the negative 4ac, so the right side of our equation will be b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. And the right side of our equation will be parentheses x plus b over 2a squared. To get x by itself, take the square root of both sides of the equation. So you square root the left and you square root the right. So on the left side, you are left with x plus b over 2a, and we get rid of the squared since we square root it, equals the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. We can't square root the top of the equation because it's a binomial, but we can square the bottom. So we are left with 2a, because 4 squared equals 2 and a squared is simply a. So our new equation now looks like x plus b over 2a equals plus or minus, don't forget, the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Our new equation is x plus b over 2a equals plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now to get x by itself, we can subtract b over 2a, but to keep balance in our equation, we have to do it from both sides. So we are left with x equals plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a minus b over 2a. Now we just have to finish simplifying the right side of the equation since we already have x by itself. The fractions on both sides of the equation are the same, so we are left with just 1, 2a. So we don't get confused and think that the negative b belongs within the square root, using the commutative property, we can move it before the plus minus. So our final equation is x equals negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This is the completed quadratic formula, and we created it from the equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This is the final product of the quadratic formula. Thanks for watching.